Hello, this is the trade site Forex Market Preview and International Economic Data Roadmap for the week beginning Sunday, the 4th of May. Holy cow, it's May 2014, ending Friday, the 9th of May. Hope you're having a good week. If you were, you probably weren't doing it, just trading the Forex market, which continues to remain fairly slow, doing not a lot. We're going to look at the indices, at the pairs. We'll look at the dollar index. We'll look at the intra-week action. See what we can see. I can tell you right now, there's not much new to see. Unfortunately, it makes these previews pretty boring. But until we kind of break this range, there's really not much to talk about. The intraday ranges have been poor. The weekly ranges have been poor. The opportunities for the usual big winners that we pull out several times a month have been muted. And so then we'll look at the economic data coming out this week. Go from there. So here's a look at the dollar index daily chart. And as you can see, since last October, we now, it's more than 6 months, we're at the exact same price we were 6 months ago, basically yesterday. So haven't gone anywhere, but as I've said many times, the real disturbing part is how narrow the total range has been here. 2 points on the dollar index, and the last 2 months has gotten worse since mid-February, down to 1 point on the dollar index. It's a long time to be in a 1 point range, to be honest. You're not going to find, I mean, you can take this chart and slide it backwards, and you're going to have a hard time finding too many times where an entire 2-month window is stuck in a 1 point range. And as you can see here, even in a lot of periods where you've got 4 or 5 points over 3 or 4 months, that's where it gets easy to make money in Forex. Unfortunately, this is not it. So we're still half size. We're not trading full size in the higher risk environment. But at the same time, you can see here that we are setting up a couple things. First of all, we had a new 13 seeker buy signal just about 2 weeks ago, and that risk line, which is the pink line at the bottom, basically lines up with the lows from October. So if we were to break that, not only does it violate the buy signal's risk line, but it breaks the lows. That should lead to some kind of move. Flip side is the buy signal's in place, and if we start to climb up, hopefully we can get at least back to that green line. Doing that in a somewhat quick fashion would give us some opportunities, and then maybe we can start talking about breaking out to the highs. But until one of the two things happens, we're pretty much stuck here in this what we'll call disappointing range. Here's a look at the euro dollar. You can see that on the daily chart. They're going on 2-3 weeks here. Look at this. We're literally in 3 weeks now where the euro dollar has been in a 100 pip range for the entire 3 weeks. That's another thing I don't think I've ever seen before, and I've been trading Forex since 2004, so that's pretty amazing. Here's a look at the pound. Very tiny bars as well. You can see it came up and hit the risk line and failed from the seeker sell signal, so that's still in place. Here's the Aussie, didn't do much this week either. Here's the New Zealand, which had that 13 sell signal back 3 weeks ago and topped out there. And now you'll notice this week we also got a sell signal on the pound yen. That's the 13 with the arrow, which would make the target the red line. So we'll see what that gives us, but for the moment, not much. All right, let's take a look at the intra-week action. I'm going to start with the euro dollar here. I already pointed it out. Spoiler alert, ranges were poor. The entire week's range, basically 100 pips, and that's only if you include this one spike down to make the new low. Other than that, you were pretty much inside of less than 100 pips. And boy, the news spikes, that's not what we like to trade anyways. So you've got a down and back on Friday. We did make a little money on that, fortunately. And then the one on Wednesday for the Fed announcement. But outside of that, mostly narrow action. This is not what you like to see, by the way. Start the week off. You get the 2 white bars up Monday. That's news. The big blue bar down Tuesday. That's news. The Fed announcement on Wednesday, which is the white bar in the end after the spike down. That's news. Nothing on Thursday, and then Friday with the unemployment data, spike down and back. I mean, all the movement is on news. That's not how we like to trade Forex. Here's a look at the pound dollar, what it did this last week. And again, this one's only marginally better, basically 140 pips, 130 pips of range, we'll call it. Doesn't even have the news spikes that the other one had. It's even, most of the intraday trading is even flatter, unfortunately. Here's the Aussie dollar. Same story here, 100 pips of range, basically. Here's the New Zealand dollar. A little more consistent. If you'd gotten a good entry there, you could have held it for a couple days, not gotten stopped out, just kept raising your stop, which we like to do. Here's the pound yen. Not much there as well. All right, let's take a look at the economic data coming out this week and get ourselves prepared. We did get rid of the unemployment data and the first look at GDP and a Fed meeting this last week. So the only other economic data that you look for on a monthly basis that's a big numbers for us is the trade balance number and also the CPI. So Let's take a look at what we've got coming out this week. On Sunday, got Japan on a bank holiday, building approvals out of Australia, UK going on a bank holiday Monday. All right, that's going to slow down the trading for Sunday night, obviously. So we'll see if we even see anything for setups to call on Sunday night going into Monday. Europe's got the PPI data coming out. US has final services PMI, ISM services. You still got Japan on a bank holiday going into Tuesday. Australia's got their trade balance number and their Bank of Australia rate announcement. You got Spanish and Italian and broad European services PMI, Spanish unemployment as well, UK services PMI, Europe's retail sales, Canada's trade balance, and there it is, US trade balance Tuesday morning at 8:30 a.m. It's one of our big three each month, so it'd be less than full size ahead of that as well. Got a speech from a Fed member. You've got unemployment rate out of New Zealand at 6:45 p.m. Tuesday night. AIG construction index for Australia. Minutes from the last Bank of Japan meeting. Retail sales out of Australia. Unemployment rate out of Switzerland. We're now heading into Wednesday. German factory orders. French industrial production. French trade balance. Retail PMI out of Europe. Coming into the North American session on Wednesday morning, halfway through the week, we've got building permits. Yellen testifying to Congress, crude oil inventories, 10-year bond auction, consumer credit in the afternoon here in the U.S. We've got RICS house price balance out of the UK, unemployment rate out of Australia, 10-year bond auction out of Japan. Thursday, trade balance out of China, German industrial production, got a bank holiday in France. That won't affect the market as much. CPI out of Switzerland. Bank announcement or rate announcement out of the Bank of England and out of the ECB, both of the European ones, so be aware of that. Housing starts and housing starts out of Canada. Unemployment claims, that's the weekly number out of the U.S. Then natty gas, 30-year bond auction out of the U.S. CPI and PPI out of China. That's the last thing Thursday night. Going into Friday, leading indicators out of Japan, German trade balance, French government budget balance, China's new loans and money supply, Italian industrial production, manufacturing production and trade balance and industrial production out of the UK at 4:30 a.m. That's a big set of numbers for the pound. 4:30 a.m. Eastern time on Friday. Unemployment rate out of Canada. JOLTS job openings and wholesale inventories out of the US. So again, the bank holiday out of the UK and Japan the first day of the week might slow things down a bit. We'll be a little cautious there. And then we've got trade balance going into Tuesday. We'll be cautious there as well. And then we'll have to see how the rest of the week goes. We will be calling it in the lab as usual and helping you figure out how to navigate this crazy Forex market. Looking for something to break here eventually. It's going to have to one way or the other. I promise you one thing, when the break comes, it's going to be a great money-making opportunity, whichever way it comes, so you better be ready. Everybody have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.